بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. قال الله عز وجل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. قال عليه الصلاة والسلام اللهم بارك لنا في رجب وشعبان وبلغنا رمضان. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to this episode of our Tarbiyah series, which is right on the eve of our blessed month of Ramadan. And we're all really excited, and our children are excited. All school children, Muslims all across the world are excited that Ramadan is upon us again. And we're out to celebrate this month and come closer to Allah, come closer to each other. That's what it's all about. This is the month of the Quran. And today I'm just going to focus on how we as a family, we as Murabbis, as those who are responsible for the tarbiyah of our children, can ourselves become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how our children can be brought closer to Allah with those positive and beautiful experiences of Ramadan that we can do together as a family, as father and son, as mother and daughter, or mother and son and father and daughter, as siblings, as grandparents, as grandchildren, just to bring that beauty and that noor, that light into this great month of ours that is dedicated to celebrate the inzal, the descent of the Quran. So what we should not lose focus of is that this precisely that the purpose of this month is to celebrate the Quran. The Quran is the chief guest of this month. The Quran is the VIP, the MVP. It's all about the Quran. So this is a time to focus and let go of all sorts of distractions and just delve and dive and absolutely submit ourselves to the Quran and dive deep and bring out the pearls of wisdom and pearls of knowledge, the pearls of taqwa and the pearls of shukr from this Quran as the two main goals of Ramadan that has been, and fasting in Ramadan that have been clarified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and explained by Allah. Basically, it comes down to two things. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. These are the two goals of Ramadan. That's what we're out to get. We're out to get taqwa, we're out to get shukr. How to become muttaqi, how to become closer to Allah. I mean, we can translate taqwa, we've done this before, as fear of Allah, but that is such a hollow translation. It doesn't cover anything. It's that relation that we seek with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that closeness, that proximity. So that's what the Ramadan and its fasting is all about. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to become muttaqi. And the other great goal of Ramadan is لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you become thankful and grateful. So gratitude and appreciating Allah's bounties, appreciating His blessings, those that we tend to overlook. And that's what we tell our children as well. The easiest lesson that we can deliver in Ramadan is that we stay hungry all day long so that we can empathize, we can feel the hunger of those who are starving around the world, those who do not have anything to eat, not because they're fasting, but because they're starving. And that, if nothing, it leads us to gratitude, leads our children to gratitude. And that is why in this entire process, it's extremely important that we focus on the true blessings of Allah and we eliminate the junk in our lives. That includes the junk diet, the junk food. So it's not just preventing ourselves from eating from suhoor to iftar, but to let go of all these toxins that we willingly spend a large portion of our budgets on and stuff into our own bodies, especially in the light of the international boycott and divesting and sanctioning BDS movement. We need to be more conscious anyway. And it has nothing to do with BDS. It's just save your own bodies from this filth. if you remain hungry all day long, and teach our children this as well, that just don't make it available. It doesn't matter how much they're pining for it. We have to set some standards. We have to set some standards as a family, some health standards, because these things catch up to you after a while. And so it's very important that we give due attention to that as well. Now, these two goals of taqwa and shukr, and the central celebration of Quran, we want to do this together as a family. We want to recite the Quran together. We want to learn the Quran together. We want to practice the ahkamat and the awamir of the Quran together. And we want to invite the entire humanity towards the Quran together. So the da'wat of the Quran and the tilawat of the Quran and the tatbiq, following the orders of the Quran, and learning, ta'aleem and ta'allum of the Quran, all of these things are part of our Ramadan. Sometimes we focus on one thing more than the other, but all of these rights of the Quran need to be fulfilled. So give each of them its time. Tilawat itself is a beautiful and soothing and illuminating worship of Allah. And some people tend to, in their zeal to promote learning the meaning of Quran, they discredit the tilawat. We don't need to do that. Tilawat has its own nur and its own benefits and its own reasons that we need to do it. Allah has commanded us to recite the Quran, and learning the Quran has its own benefits. So, and practicing it is the purpose of it, and inviting towards it has its own rights. So all of these rights of the Quran need to be fulfilled as a family. So we want to do ibadah together. We want to do ta'aleem together. We want to do everything together as a family. We want to make dua together. So what we need to do for that is dedicate a place in our home, a room, or a part of a room, just a niche in the room, and make that the masjid of the home. Enlighten it, beautify it. Let your children, set it up. Let them get excited about it. A lot of people around the world, alhamdulillah, make this a habit. But my only request is that not to just keep it for Ramadan. We're not seasonal worshippers. Ramadan is not a season, it's a launch pad. So for the remaining 11 months, we need to remain focused the same way. And then the next Ramadan comes and we get accelerated again. So it's like, when you're pushing your child on the swing in the park, when the child comes back to you and then you give it another push, now it's going faster. So that's what each Ramadan should do to us in our pursuit of Allah's closeness and Allah's love. It just keeps elevating us rather than just be some sort of 30-day program. And so in this masjid at home, we need to ensure that we're worshipping Allah there together. Those moments of being together, that's what we cherish. That's what the parents I'm speaking to. Isn't that what you cherish from your childhood? That's what we need to give our children. And and not only the masjid at home. Let's make our relationship stronger with the masajid, with the houses of Allah. إِنَّمَا يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. So let's populate the masajid. Let's bring them alive with worship. And fathers, take your sons. And if there are arrangements for ladies, then mothers, take your daughters by all means. Give them that spiritual experience. And I request all sorts of people watch these videos that don't prevent people, don't chide people for bringing their children. That's the worst thing we can do right now. Don't be pedantic and condescending towards other parents. Take care of your child. Make him be quiet. Make her be quiet. Give each other a little space. It's okay. It's okay. They're children. If they're making noise in the masjid, we shouldn't be making noise in the masjid. We're adults. Okay. And then what we need to be focusing on is what distracts us. And nothing distracts us more than our devices. Please, this is my appeal to all my brothers and sisters, that give up your devices for the Quran, give up your devices for Ramadan. I know I'm not advocating that you completely turn it off. That's pretty much not possible. But at least limit your usage to essential communication. Leave those WhatsApp groups that mean nothing. They'll only distract you. Only maybe if you have a work group, etc., or maybe if, coordination with your school, your children's school, etc. I understand that. Keep that, but limit it to essential communication, calling and text. That's it. No videos. Don't even watch Islamic videos. No need to. Okay, you might be listening to bayans, listening to lectures, etc., of ulama and others, but use the audio. Don't look at the screen, because this has an amazing effect of detox on us that we need to go through. So go ahead and listen, but don't engage with the screen. And the less you engage, the more you have a detox of your dopamine, the more of this digital heroin addiction you're breaking away from. And that's what will enlighten you and illuminate you in this Ramadan. If you let your devices steal all your precious moments of Ramadan, then you will really be among the losers. And there's a trend, especially in Pakistan, where people want to make dua at the time of iftar on some TV channel. There's some scholar or there's some other person, they're making dua and they're really passionate in their dua. Make your own duas, brothers and sisters. Make your own duas. Make dua with your family. Sit down together. Everyone can make their own, individual or collectively. However, the duas that come from your heart, those are the ones that hold power. As Iqbal had said, दिल से जो बात निकलती है असर रखती है पर नहीं ताकत परवाज मगर रखती है. So what comes from your heart is what Allah wants to listen to, not what someone in some other city, some other place over an electronic signal is broadcasting. I'm sure we learn a lot from their duas, but if we want closeness to Allah, make your own duas. And similarly, in your duas, don't forget our brothers and sisters all around the world, in Gaza, in Syria, in East Turkestan, in Kashmir, in Yemen, all over the place. We tend to forget when one crisis comes, we forget the other. And remember, why are we in these crises? How we can come out of that. Plan long term, turn towards Allah. We change our lives, we change our collective lives, become a community, come together and worship, obey Allah together and do our part to change the world into a better place. Invite the entire humanity. We gave up the work of da'wah and tabligh. That is what has led us to this downfall, actually. So let's come back to that. My request as far as using your phone is, don't even recite Quran on your phone. A lot of brothers and sisters, they use the Quran to recite. They use the phone to recite the Quran. Use a mushaf. Use the print. It has its own nur. It has its own benefits. Stay away from screens. And remember that your zakatul fitr, you can give it starting from the first day of Ramadan, and try to do that as early as possible. Don't delay that, because the sooner you can give it to the deserving people, the sooner they can do something with it. If they need their clothes to be stitched, if they need to buy some food, etc., for their iftar, do it as soon as possible. And please, we tend to go by the least standard, which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam set for the weak among, economically, financially weak among the society. No, Rasulullah himself paid by the raisin standard, or at least the date standard. So go by the raisin standard. Find out how much the weight equal to the quantity Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has set. How much of that is worth in your currency, and that's how much we should be giving of raisin, of dates, and that's what is preferred for us. And clean your hearts. Clean your hearts. Forgive everyone and ask for forgiveness. Make and take your children to visit your family, and make an effort to restore ties, restore bonds with neighbors, with family, with other Muslims. Maybe you might have had some bad business dealing with someone. Whatever. Forgive all Muslims. رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. O my son Anas, if it's possible for you that you keep your heart clean from all Muslims, and you can wake up in the morning in such a condition, then do so. And if you can find evening in such a condition, then do so. For verily that is my sunnah, and whoever brings my sunnah alive, he has indeed loved me, and whoever loves me will be with me in Jannah. So we want to be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannah, and this is not a season, this is forever. Even Laylatul Jaiza, the night before Eid, the first night of Shawwal, and Eid al-Fitr, these are also days of worship. It just, our closeness to Allah keeps continuing. So let's make this the best Ramadan that we've had, and the best Ramadan that our children have had. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.